Hello third year students. Today we are going to start reading and analyzing Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. So let us start. The first page of Robinson Crusoe. The life and strange surprising adventures of Robinson Crusoe of York Marina. I was born in the year 1632 in the city of York, of a good family, though not of that country, my father being a foreigner of Burman, who settled first at Hull. He got a good state of merchandise and leaving off his trade, lived afterward at York. From hence he had married my mother, whose relations were named Robinson, a very good family in that country, and from whom I was called Robinson Crusoe. But by the usual corruption of the words in England, we are now called, nay, we call ourselves and write our name Crusoe, and so my companions always called me. Here the narrator talks about his life and his family. He said that he was born in 1632 in the English city of York. Crusoe's father was a German, originally named Crusoe. In English language, the name is changed to Crusoe. Students, we are still discussing the first page of Robinson Crusoe. Now the second paragraph. It starts with, I had two elder brothers, one of which was lieutenant colonel to an English regiment of foot in Flanders, formerly commanded by the famous Colonel Lockhart, and was killed at the battle near Dunkirk against the Spaniards. What became of my second brother I never knew any more than my father or mother did know what was become of me. The narrator continues here, telling the reader personal information about himself, saying that he is the youngest of the three sons. His elder brother had been a lieutenant colonel in the English army. He was killed in one of the battles against the Spanish army. His second brother has been lost mysteriously. No one knows what happens to him, even the narrator himself. Now, who's the narrator here? Is he Daniel Defoe or one of the characters? Students, what do you think? The narrator of this novel is one of the characters. He is called Robinson Crusoe. He is the hero of this novel. He is narrating his story to us. It seems that the narration of the novel is done through writing his diary. Writing the diary of Robinson Crusoe, telling through this diary everything related to his life and documenting the whole events of the novel. What does Robinson Crusoe mean by saying, what became of my second brother I never knew any more than my father or mother did know what was become of me? Crusoe here says that he knows nothing about the end of his second brother, save that he is mysteriously lost. He does not know more than this, exactly as his parents do not know about his end. Okay, one may ask, what is the end of Robinson Crusoe? The narration of Robinson Crusoe here shows that he is writing his diary after surviving the shipwreck. In other words, Crusoe here is on the remote island alone, documenting his biography. This is why he says that his parents have no idea about his tragic end. I mean, his father and mother do not know that he is shipwrecked and he has been cast away alone on a remote island. Students, let us now go to the third paragraph, the same page, in which Crusoe continues his narration saying, "Being the third son of the family and not bred to any trade, my head began to be filled early with rambling thoughts. My father, who was very ancient, had given me a competent share of learning as far as house education, and a country free school generally goes, and designed me for the law. But I would be satisfied with nothing but going to sea, and my inclination to this led me so strongly against the will, nay, the commands of my father." Crusoe's father encouraged him to study law and be a lawyer, but Crusoe's inclination or tendency pushed him to go to sea, be a sailor, and making adventures and voyages. Crusoe's father strongly opposes the idea of riding the sea, telling Crusoe about the value of accepting a middle station of life, since such a life is secure and comfortable, as Crusoe himself narrates in the following quotation. That the middle station of life was calculated for all kinds of virtues and all kinds of enjoyments, that peace and plenty were the handmaids of a middle fortune, that temperance, moderation, quietness, health, society, all agreeable diversions, and all desirable pleasures were the blessing attending the middle station of life. Students, you can find this quotation in page 6, in the middle of the second paragraph. In this quotation, as we said before, Crusoe's father encouraged him to be a lawyer and to stay in England. And to stay in England, be away from the danger of the sea. Students, would you please go to page 7, the first paragraph, the second line, in which Crusoe says, "I say I observed the tears run down his face very plentifully, and especially when he spoke of my brother who was killed, and that when he spoke of my having leisure to repent and none to assist me, he was so moved that he broke off the discourse and told me his heart was so full he could say no more to me." The narration of Robinson Crusoe here shows that Crusoe's father is shocked when he knows about his son's desire to ride the sea. He does not want to lose his only remaining son, since he has lost 2 sons before. Crusoe's father becomes very upset and sad. Crusoe himself has seen his tears run down his face. This makes Crusoe willingly surrender to his father's wish, as he says in the following quotation. "I was sincerely affected with this discourse, as indeed who could be otherwise, and I resolved not to think of going abroad any more, but to settle at home according to my father's desire." Crusoe here has neglected the ideas of going to sea and making adventures. It seems that he has been affected by the tears of his father. A few days, Crusoe has forgotten his promise to his father, since he cannot resist his strong desire to ride the sea. He is now 18 years. Being young and full of ambition and motivation, Crusoe has decided to make his first voyage as soon as he finds the chance to do it. Students, let us go to page 8, please. The first paragraph, the third line. "That boy might be happy if he would stay at home, but if he goes abroad he will be the miserable scratch that was ever born. I can give no consent to it." The speaker here is Crusoe's father. Seeing his son insisting on riding the sea, and acting against his will, Crusoe's father becomes aware that his son is drawing his tragic end by himself. Riding the sea will lead Crusoe to his miserable and inevitable end, which is death. Students, we said that Crusoe here is writing his diary. He is sitting alone on the remote island documenting his diary. Now, what leads Crusoe to document the warning words of his father here? Think of it and try to tell me through your comments.